assassins are fighting for free will, and it was, you know, as soon as I sort of read about the game, I thought, well, what a fantastic thing to fight for, instead of just kind of good, bad, light, dark. It was morally ambiguous, and it was very interesting in regards to kind of, you know, freedom of choice, freedom of thought, you know, being able to kind of find self-realization as opposed to being dictated and kind of led by others. And then on the other side, you have Templars who were, you know, believed humanity was corrupt. They believed that an elite society, you know, had to kind of shadow humanity and evolve them through science. And I just thought that those ideologies are really interesting and have kind of patterns through real history. And I think that's why they so beautifully, the war between Templars and Assassins within the game, so beautifully sit between real history. So there was a lot of meat in the bone already, which was really surprising. I mean, I think most people's assumptions of video games are it's all about the gameplay. And I was just blown away by the level of work and integrity and complexity that have gone into this game. You know, it's perfect material for a film.
Yes, I think going back to this lady's question earlier about doing comedy, yeah, probably should do some of that now. Conflicted characters, I guess there's something to play there with. Again, it's sort of, it goes back to what I said earlier about sort of provoking an audience, and sort of maybe through the journey of these characters, we can also maybe reflect on ourselves, the world around us. But it's time for me to do something different. In terms of challenge, producing was definitely the challenge on this for me. I mean, getting together with guys from Ubisoft from the beginning, finding writers, you know, starting to develop the script from scratch, and then finding, you know, the director, which we did, and Justin was fantastic finding, and then, you know, the casting thing. Yeah, that was just, it was a baptism of fire for me. I'd done it on a smaller level with the film again, our production company called Slow West, but that was $2 million. This was, you know, a much bigger thing. And yeah, I learned a lot. It was very challenging, but rewarding.
Sandra Gutierrez, Entertainment SFA.
Buenos días. Tengo dos preguntas. La primera al director. ¿Cómo fue la selección del elenco? Porque sabemos que los fans son a veces muy críticos sobre el elenco que se escoge para este tipo de películas. ¿Cómo fue esa selección? Dar con los actores que daban perfectamente para cada característica. Y Fassbender, ¿cómo fue preparar este personaje? Nos has comentado de que empezaste a ver los videojuegos, que te acercaste mucho a los creadores, pero ¿cómo fue crear el personaje? Por lo mismo de que es un personaje como muy difícil de todo lo que nos has venido presentando.
Well, it was interesting. The characters really evolved quite dramatically through the development of the film. Actually, one character changed sex, which Marion ended up playing Sophia. He used to actually be a male character in the film. So that was really interesting, actually, how they kind of turned and flowed. And actually, when Sophia was created, it really changed the dynamic of the story, and it actually started to make it kind of really click. Actors, I mean, there's so many people that I work with Michael, so he's a massive draw card with other actors. And then, you know, it was just good material, I think. I think for a genre film like this, and for it to have the sort of depth there, and to have some of those really quite complex scenes in the film, we were very, very lucky that we could attract such an amazing cast. When Marion came on, it just started to kind of amazingly grow. You know, we've got Brendan Gleeson and Michael K. Williams and Jeremy Irons and Debbie Mershack, this beautiful French actress Ariane Lebed, who plays Maria in the film. It became a kind of really interesting mixture of you know, different faces and different nationalities and cultures and then all the Spanish actors as well, Javier Novic and So it was very exciting directing this film performance-wise, because it's very rare that you get such a kind of ensemble of great actors, you know, involved in a film, you know, of this scale.
Yeah, I guess there was two characters to approach. Aguilar was somebody, Justin and I sort of were discussing kind of like a Western type character. He doesn't say a lot, which again helped with my Spanish, but he was a kind of man that expressed himself through his actions. He's somebody that very much believed in his cause, so he's dedicated to it. He belongs to something. He's willing to sacrifice himself for this belief system. But really, it was a physical part. We knew that a lot of our action sequences were going to be in regression, so there were parkour elements, and as well as the fight choreography to work on. So there was a lot of physical training for both characters, just sort of physical conditioning, and then working with the stunt people as much as I could, as much time as allowed myself and Harry Ann and Hovig. You know, again, Justin's vision was to do this old school, like in terms of the action sequences, we're going to be in real locations with real people fighting. So we were running along the tops of the building in Valletta and Malta, hanging off and jumping from them. And so we wanted to do as much as we could. In fact, the actors did do 95% of the fight themselves. So that was one element. Callahan is somebody who's the opposite of Aguilar. He's selfish. He's become quite cynical, distrusting of people because of what he's gone through. He's had to look after himself since he's been 8 years of age. Spent a lot of his time going in and out of correctional facilities. When we meet him, he's on death row about to be executed. So he's a hardened sort of individual. And it's only really through his experience in the Animus that he starts to realize that he does belong to this brotherhood. He has a lineage to it dating back to 15th century Spain. So yeah, it was interesting playing those two off each other, but luckily we filmed them kind of in sequences. Aguilar came first, we shot Regression 2 and 3 first. Then I shot the Cal stuff in London, and then we finished up in Almeria with the first Regression.
Manuel Zurita, Broadway.
Hi, how are you? Not only in Mexico.